What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. So a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to make edibles, and it's actually really easy. This channel obviously focuses on CBD and hemp, so I'm going to be showing you how to make your own CBD hemp edibles. So if you don't know what hemp flower is, basically hemp is very similar to marijuana, not exactly the same, but it's high in CBD. It's 100% legal. Go online, search hemp flowers for sale, and there's going to be a whole bunch of websites that you can order them from. Like I said, 100% federally legal. If you want some website recommendations, go ahead and DM me and I'll give you some good recommendations. So what I've done is I have 30 grams of hemp flower here. I like to use about an ounce or 30 grams, but you can size your edibles to whatever you prefer, whatever you have. You could use an eighth or you can use a quarter. For this batch, I'm going to use 30 grams. So I have 30 grams of hemp flower and it's 15% CBD. So total here I have 4,500 milligrams of CBD, which is a lot. You're going to want higher doses when you make edibles. So how you get started is you get your flower. You can go ahead and come over here. I've already started the first step, but get your flour and kind of just bust it up. Doesn't have to be ground up, but just in like nice like popcorn sized buds. Once you do that, you want to go ahead and put it on like a baking sheet. Some people put foil. I haven't found the need to do that. Just get a baking sheet and put it on here, and go ahead and set your oven to about 250 or between 225 and 250, just in case your oven runs a little hot, and let it preheat. Let your oven preheat, and then you want to throw the flour in there for about 45 minutes, and this is called decarbing it. So it's changing the CBDA into CBD, which is the active form of CBD. Now it works the same for THC. So if you use THC bud, it's going to turn the THCA into THC. It's called decarbing. It's basically just putting your flour in the oven and prepping it for making the edibles. So oven 225, 250, throw this in for 45 minutes, pull it out. I already did that. When you pull it out, it's going to be like a brown color and it's going to crumble apart. So you're going to want to, at this point, you don't even need a grinder. You can just do this with your fingers. It'll crumble apart, and just go ahead and break it all down till it looks up like finely ground flour. And from here, we'll go to the next step, which will be infusing this into an oil or a fat-based product, so the cannabinoids can be absorbed properly. Also, I just want to give you a warning. When you decarb flour in the oven, it's going to smell very loud, very pungent. So if you need to be low-key, we still do since weed is not federally legal, know that it's going to be very smelly to do this, but it doesn't linger for that long, so just a warning to you. And I will be back and we'll show you how to infuse this into oil. What's up? So now we're on to the next step of the process of making edibles, CBD edibles or CBD oil. So in order to extract the CBD, the cannabinoids, out of the flour, you need something that has fat. So basically the fat is going to grab on to those CBD molecules and hold on to them. So to make infusions or edibles, you have to have something that is fatty. So most people use like butter, if you've heard of canna butter, or you can use MCT oil if you want to make CBD oil that you put under your tongue. For me, I'm going to be using coconut oil, and that's because I'm going to be baking baked goods with this, so I chose to go with coconut oil. So I used a cup of this organic coconut oil. So I just measured out a cup of the oil, put it in this saucepan, and then I poured the 30 grams of flour in here. Now, the exact temperature doesn't matter exactly, but what I do is the optimal temperature is about 220 degrees, and I've found that on majority of stoves, 220 degrees is on the lowest possible heat or just above the lowest possible heat. You basically want to have it at about the temp where it's like simmering, like you're getting a little bit of bubbles, but it's not boiling. And you want to let this go for minimum like 2 hours. I do about 3 hours, and I found that works well. But you could do as long as you want. I would recommend about 3 or 4 hours. So you let this go on the stove top for 3 or 4 hours, and you're gonna stir just to make sure that the flour gets distributed evenly and it's not sticking to the sides. And that's about all you have to do for this step. After this, we'll go ahead and let it cool down and we will strain it. When I was showing you how to decarb the flour, I told you that we had 30 grams at 15% CBD. So I know I have 4,500 milligrams of CBD here, and I have a cup of coconut oil. So you do the math. It's not real hard math. If you have trouble with it, go ahead and DM me and I'll tell you how to do it. But depending on how much flour you use and how much oil you use, it's gonna vary, like the concentration of the infusion you're making. This happens to be, I already did the math, there's gonna be 18 milligrams of CBD per milliliter. There's about 200, well, I don't know the exact amount. But anyways, do the math, figure out the concentration that you have or the concentration that you want, and keep track of it so you know how potent to make your edibles, or you know how potent your sublingual drops will be. Alright, I'll see you on the next step. What's up? So last step, we're in a new location. My girlfriend moved houses, so that's why we're here. But anyways, I took the pan off the stove, or the pot off the stove, and oil, once it's heated up, will hold its heat for a while. So what I do is when I pull it off the stove, I throw it in the freezer and let it cool down. You got to be careful with coconut oil though. If you let it sit in the freezer for too long, it will solidify. If you use MCT oil, you don't have to worry about that. But anyways, let it cool down, just so it's cool enough to where you can touch it with your hands and not burn yourself. So you'll pull it off the stove, like I said, and then what you're gonna want to do is when you need to strain out that flour. So what I like to use is cheesecloth. You can buy this at the grocery store. It basically looks like fabric, and it allows the oil to go through, but it sifts out the flour. So or you can, if you have like a fine metal mesh strainer, that works as well. Anyways, so you get your pot and you get a bowl, and you put the cheesecloth over the bowl, have someone hold it, or you can use a rubber band, and you just pour the oil. You pour everything into the cheesecloth and squeeze the cheesecloth so you make sure you get all that oil out. Like really squeeze it. You can twist it up because you want, that's precious oil. You made it. You want that. Anyways, make myself laugh. When you're finished, this is coconut oil. It's kind of hot in here, so it's like half solid, half liquidy, but it's gonna have a green color to it. It should smell kind of like planty. It should smell pleasant. I'm getting ready to use all of this and make some baked goods, but that's pretty much how you make your own oil for making edibles, or MCT oil for sublingual drops. If you have any questions, go ahead and DM me. I'm going to put all the directions in this Instagram post. Thanks for watching. As always, peace.